Good morning, children. Let us begin the new lesson of English literature, A New Friend. This story is a very interesting story about two little children. This text will give you a message about planting trees. And by the end of the lesson, you will be understand and notice more closely the beauty and wonder of nature. Let us enjoy a story about two little children learning an important lesson from an adventure. Tuka and Poi love collecting things, smooth pebbles from the riverside, twisted fern leaves, bright red buttons that have fallen from a school uniform. Tuka and Poi pick them up every day. They meet after school near the coconut tree that bows down to the river. The story is about Tuka and Poi. These two children love collecting things, especially smooth pebbles. Pebbles is a smooth round stone that is found nearby water. While going to school, they look the road and collected things. And they collect all, and every day they meet after school near the coconut tree. You know the coconut tree? These two children sit and see the things, examine them. And these pebbles, twisted fern leaves, you can see these leaves are very beautiful and they are twisted. They are very interested to see this. They are very excited also. Together, Tuka and Poi walk heads bent, scanning the road, the grass, and the rocks for interesting things to collect. Their favorite things to collect are seeds. Tuka and Poi collect shiny red seeds that look like ladybirds, spiky burrs that stick to their clothes, and the giant bean shaped pods of the copper pod trees. Today, Tuka and Poi are sitting by the tamarind tree. Tuka's favorite seeds are the poogie pods they find around this tree. He loves to suck on the sour flesh until he gets to the shiny brown seeds inside. It makes Tuka's face scrunch up in funny ways. Here, Tuka and Poi, they every day search, scan the road. Here, the word scanning means looking carefully to search for some things. So, while searching the road, they collect interesting things like red buttons also. Red button seems to be like beetle. Beetle is a kind of insect which looks beautiful. They collect spiky burrs. The spiky burrs is a kind of thing which stick to the claws because of little horns or hooks they have. Shiny red seeds. The giant bean shaped pods of the copper pod tree. Bean shaped pods. You have seen in some trees there are some pods and which have seeds. Pods which have seeds. Normally trees have. And they were of the copper pod tree. And but the main thing they collect, and they were interested in collecting seeds of different things or different plants. Today, Tuka and Poi are sitting. As I told you that Tuka and Poi, they sat under a tamarind tree. Tamarind tree, you know children, what is a tamarind? Normally we call it imli in our homes. Tuka's favorite seeds are the poogie pods they find around this tree. It means Tuka, who loves the poogie pods. As I told you that poogie pods, what it is? Poogie means thick pods, which has little flesh also. they love to collect it, and especially Tuka. He loves to suck on the sour flesh. Suck means something. Uh, Suck means to pull a liquid in your mouth, or a liquid when you put in your mouth you want to taste it, like keep touching until you will not get the seed. That is, so Tuka love to suck the sour flesh of the tamarind, there's poogie pods, until, okay, it makes Tuka's face scrunch up in funny ways. Here scrunch means crumple or twist. When you eat something very very sour, just like lemon, you keep when you keep lemon in your mouth, how do you feel? You think that it has a sharp taste, and just because of sharp taste or unpleasant taste that you don't like, you make your face indifferent, or your face seems to be like twisted, crumple. So here scrunch up in funny ways. Suddenly they hear a small voice say hello. Tuka and Poi look at each other puzzled. They can't see anybody. And both the children were sitting under the tree. They were doing like this. And Tuka ate the pod of tamarind. And suddenly he heard a sound. You can see this. These are the seeds of tamarind. So suddenly Tuka hear a sound. Hello. They both of them were puzzled. Here puzzle means, what do you mean by the puzzle? When you unable to understand anything or something. And the sound which they heard was coming from a tree. Up here. They hear the voice say again, it's me, Pacha. I am the tamarind tree. The tree said, here, the tree said, up here, up here. Both the children, they were puzzled from where the sound was coming, and it was actually the tamarind tree. Tuka and Poi become as still as statues. Their eyes widen and their mouths freeze in a big O. Finally, Poi smiles shyly and says, hello, Pacha. It's nice to meet you. I'm Poi. Then she gives the tree a big hug. It means both the children, they were puzzled to see that uh, a tree was speaking, and the tree said that I'm Pacha. They were as still as a statue, you know. Okay, their eyes widen and their mouths freezes in big O. Here the word freeze means stop moving and become fixed. It means you are unable to move here and there. And the mouth their mouth open in a big O. O. It means when you are very very embarrassed or you are surprised to see, your mouth opens. Finally, now Poi finally smiled, and then she said to Pacha, hello Pacha, it's nice to meet you. Both the children said, and that time Poi gave a big hug to the tree. The tamarind tree explains very well the importance of seeds, and he inquired that what were they doing nearby the trees. The children explains that they were collecting things, and Pacha also became very happy to see, and he explains very nicely that all seeds carry a tiny plant inside it. Here you can see a picture of tamarind seeds. He explains that Pacha the tamarind tree also came from a tiny seed of tamarind, and children were very happy to know that a seed turns into a seedling, and then tiny plants, and finally the tiny plants turn into a big tree. which provides us shelter. And then Pacha asks that whether they have anything in their bag. Then Tuka nods and pulls out a small red apple. Now bite into the apple until you reach the center. Pacha says, you will see little brown seeds sitting there. They are like shiny little bugs, says Poi, munching the apple. Here, Pacha asked that whether they have anything or any fruit inside. Then Tuka said yes and he showed a red apple. And then Pacha said, okay, you bite it until you reach to the center of the apple. And you know, children, when we reach to the center of the apple, we can see many tiny little seeds. Here, Pacha says also you can see the brown little seeds sitting there. And Boy says, oh, these seeds really look a little shiny, shiny little bugs. And then Pacha says, aren't they pretty? Those little seeds grow into apple trees. Pacha says, seeds come in all shapes and sizes, and they all have a little plant inside, waiting to come out and see the world. When Boy says that the tiny little seeds just look like little bugs, then Pacha says that all seeds, that different type of seeds are different types of baby plants of different types of plants, fruits. And then he explains that seeds are of different shapes and sizes, and they all carry a little plant inside, and all plant is waiting to come out and see the world. And the children were very happy and excited to listen it, to understand. They understood very well. As Tuka and Boy walk home that evening, they look closely at all the trees along the road. How pretty the leaves of the coconut tree look as they dance in the wind. How beautiful the red gulmohar flowers are against the bright blue sky. Now the children understood that an apple tree comes out from a tiny little apple seed, and they saw it very nicely and they understood with the help of Pacha. And Pacha explains very well that how does a tiny seed grows into a seedlings, a tiny plant. You can see in this picture very nicely that how does a seed turns into a big tree. Tuka and Poi also that day saw different types of plants, and they discuss, they saw and they admire also. They saw the leaves of coconut tree and they saw that they were seemed to be dance in the wind. It means when the wind blows, they saw that the coconut tree's leaves were swaying here and there. Swayed. It was so beautiful. And they look the red gulmohar flowers. All of you have seen red gulmohar flowers are against the bright blue sky. It means in bright blue sky you can see green leaves look very beautiful. How nice and rough the bark of the mango tree feels under their palms, and how wonderful that something as big and important as a tree starts out as a tiny little seed. Now, children, we're talking about mango tree that inside the bark of mango tree is rough, but it's very interesting to see. And they were excited to know that a tree starts out as a tiny little seed. It means a tiny little seed turns into a big tree. It was very interesting for them. Tuka and Poi still meet every evening after school. But now they also collect things in which they can plant the seeds they find. Old shoes, empty coconut shells, even used plastic bottles, everything can be turned into pots. And every once in a while they stop by for a chat with Pacha, the tamarind tree. Now, from that day, Tuka and Poi, they still meet every evening. After the school, they meet with their things. Now they collected different types of seeds Earlier they looked for only seeds or pebbles, but now they were finding different types of old shoes, empty coconut shells, in which all the types of things in which they can plant seeds, and all the things can be turned into pots. And while returning and while crossing to the road, they never stop meeting with Pacha. It means whenever they cross from that particular area, the road, they stop for some time and chat with Pacha, the tamarind tree. Here, chat means talking. Okay? The meaning of every once in a while is sometimes, now and then. And from then on, they collect things in which they can plant seeds. Thank you.